Welcome to part 20 of our multi-language adventure game. This one we're doing in Lua, and we've now got some kind of a game loop running so that we can actually go round and explore the locations that we built last time and the items that we used before then to actually to make use of them. So I'll just show you what it looks like when it's run from the console. So we don't need debug mode for this, so I shall disable it. So we've got this bit, which of course you're familiar with. We did this over the last few episodes, and we're choosing our nearly there. Right, now this is the new bit. We're now actually in the description of where we are. So it says we're in a hotel room, a damp hotel room. Items in this location, torch and book. And then we've got this sort of menu system that's asking you what you want to do next. If there are items in the location, such as there are here, then you'll have an examine and take for each item. And then if there are any entrances and exits, you'll have a go east, go north, go south, go west, and finally a quit. So let's check them out one at a time. We'll do examine the torch. Helps if I put one in instead of 12. You examine the torch. There we go. Maybe you might want to hold that up a bit longer. It's only a couple of seconds, but it's easily all adjusted. We'll now take the torch. So the menu now shrinks because the torch is in our inventory. It's therefore not in the location anymore. So now we can examine or take the book. So let's examine the book. A very useful book. And now we'll take it. So that only leaves open your inventory, go east, or quit. Let's just open the inventory. So we get a new menu now, which is just based on the contents of the inventory. So we can examine or drop the torch, examine or drop the book, or exit that menu. We've already done examine, so we don't need to do that. Let me drop the torch so that it drops it back into the location. So we drop the torch, and now we can examine the book. That's the last one in our inventory. So if we drop it, then it won't come back up anymore. So if we drop the book, then we go back to the main game menu with, again, examine or take the book or the torch. So we've done all that. Let's now go east, which is 5. So in this area there's a key card and a key. We can of course examine them, take them, whatever. We can also go north, east or west. What I'm going to do is to go north, so we'll try 5. And it says you need the key in your inventory to go that way. Okay, fair enough. Let's see if we can go west, back into the hotel room. We need the key card. Okay. So if we take the key card, which is 2, now we try to go back west into the hotel room. Use the key card, and we're back into the hotel room. So let's go east again. Let's go east once more, and we're in the final area, which is the lift, a dangerous lift with doors that do not close properly. So there's no items or anything in here. In the next iteration of the game, there will be an enemy in here, and we kill the enemy. We get the key, which will then allow us to go north into reception. So for the moment, that's not happening. So we'll go west. We can now examine that key. So a Yale front door key covered in rat vomit. That's ready for when we kill the rat that's containing the key. It'll then drop it. So let's take the key. So we take the key, and now we're going to go north. Use the key to enter and we're now in reception. The end of the adventure. Well done. There are no exits. So we've only choices we've got is to open the inventory or quit. End of game. There we go. So we've finally got the game running now. So let's go through it in step by step and see how it all works. The things you'll need to adjust this time round is in the location class. I did make some minor changes to the location display location, so you might just want to check through that to make sure that all agrees with what you may or may not already have in your thing. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. The main has not been altered at all. That's still exactly as it was. Sorry, no. Main has had a lot of alterations. It's game that has very little been changed, so I haven't done anything to game at all. That's exactly the same as it was, so it's the main one that has all the alterations in. So we've got this check exit. Let me just increase the font. Check exit, take action, use inventory, and play. So these are the ones that have been altered now. So what we'll do is we'll run through the game in debug mode so you can see how it all works. So I'll put the stop point at play so that we go through all the kind of loading in, setting up the game, etc., and we'll stop at this point. I'll need to, of course, increase the size of the output down here. If I can get it. There we go. That'll do. So we'll hit the single button there and increase the font. Oops, wrong one. A little bit more. There we are. So we want to disable debug mode, yes. So we get this bit, which I'm not going to go through, that's all previous stuff. Put a name in. Choose a character. Okay, that looks like we're at the play. Yep, there we go. So we're about to step into the play function. So let's F10 into that. I'll drop this down a bit now that we've got the there it is. We've got it here. So we're at this point there, line 125. So we're setting up some variables here. These will be used down here. Now this one is slightly special. This is a variable holding an object. So we're creating, or we've got number of objects stored in shared locations. If I hover over there, we've got, as you can see, a corridor, lift, whatever. It's not going to list them all, but that all four of our locations are stored in there. So we're going to pick out our current location, which is the hotel room. So if I press F10, here has now been changed to one specific location, which is the damp hotel room. No enemy, item required key card. We've got a torch and book in here. The name of the hotel room. To the east there's a corridor, north, south and west has nothing. So that gives us all the details for that location. We're going to set up a table of exits, which is empty. We're clearing the console. And now we're going to call this here display location. So we're going to step now into the location class. Just because it doesn't always work, I'm going to actually put a stop point in the location class. Let's put that in there, and that should now go through. Okay, so we're on line 129, F10. Yep, that's gone through. Let's increase the font. So we're setting up an empty table of exits, and then we're checking whether the self to north equals an empty string. It does. To east, no, we've got corridor there. To south, empty string. To west, empty string. So if one of these is not an empty string, then we're going to insert it into this table of exits. So that at the moment exits is, if I can get over that, let's go F10. So we're now on line 108. We know that self to east is not an empty string. So we're going to insert that into exits. So if I hover over exits, we've got an empty table. Press F10 and exits now consists of east. So we've added east to our list of exits. There aren't any more, so this is going to be the same once we have stepped through them all. So exits remains at just east. Now we're next going to print out where we are. We're in a self.name, which is hotel room, comma, self.description, which is a damp hotel room. So let's step through that. And it appears down here as you'd expect. Next is checking whether the number, which is the hash sign in Lua, means number of. So if the number of exits is 0, then we print out there are no exits. We know that exits is 1, so that obviously will not run. So we'll press F10 and get past that. Then if the items is greater than 0, items is torch and book, so it is greater than 0, we're now going to create a string that has a list of whatever items are in there. There are a number of ways of doing this, which we'll be showing you later using table concat, but for the moment we're just going to step through and add them to our string. So if we press F10, we're going to go through the iPairs of self.items and torch and book, and then we're going to put the add to this output string whatever the item is, a comma and a space. So if I press F10, then our output should now show items in this location, torch, comma. Press it again. That's gone through those. Output is this location, torch, comma, book, comma. Now what this last line does is to strip away the comma by removing the last two characters of the string, so the space and the comma. So we F10 there, and output will now show item this location, torch, comma, book. Then we print that out. There we go, down here, that's come out now. Increase the row by 1, and we return sending back with us the exits, which is our list, or table I should say, with east in it and the current row number, which is 2. So we'll F10 that. So we've now got from this play function the available exits and the current row number. Not that that's relevant at the moment because we're running in a console, and as you can see it's been set to -1. That's because we're not running inside the we're running in the IDE, not a console. So next stage is to call this take action function here and pass to it the current location object. That's where we are now, the list or table of objects of exits, and the row number. So we'll pass that through, step into that now. So what we've got now is an empty table of options. The items has been set to whatever is available in the locations. So let me just see. Items is torch and book. So we've extracted from that here object. The get items function has returned us whatever is inside that, whatever items are inside that location. Then it's going to check if the number of items is greater than 0, which it is. We're then going to start to build up the options table for our menu. So at the moment it's empty, so we're going to step through, and the first item there is the torch, so we want to add to our options table examine torch. So if I press F10 and then take torch, so press F10 again, so our table has now got our options table has now got examine torch and take torch added to it. So we'll step through it again for the other item, which would be the book, so that our table of options now has examine torch, take torch, examine book, and take book. Next thing to check is if the player has got anything in its inventory. The player inventory at the moment is 0, so that won't currently run. But if there was anything in the inventory, it would add this as an option, open your inventory. So that's another menu option that would become available. If the number of exits is greater than 0, which it is, it's going to insert into the options table go in that direction. So let's step through and see how it does that. So for exit in the I pairs again, so insert into options, go, there we are, let's put that on now. Options, we've got take, examine torch, take torch, examine book, take book, and go east. That was the last one that was added. The final thing to put into our options is the quit option, of course. So we will now add that by pressing F10. So our table of options now has quit at the end of it. So that's what's going to make up our menu. And then we call the keyboard menu function, as we've done before, with the title what next, pass it the options and the row number, and we will then get a choice coming back. So if I put that there, hit the green button, so there's our menu, what next, type the number of your choice. Let's type 1 so we can check that out. So we're up here, and the choice that we have chosen is examine torch. So it's not going to find it in, it's not going to find quit in there, it's not going to find go in there, it's going to find examine. So we should go to this line here, line 81. Let's press F10 and go through, refusing that one, it's not choosing that one. There we are, 81. So it's going to return the word examine and the substring of the choice starting at character 9, so that we're excluding the word examine and the space, and we will return just the word torch in this case. So we'll press F10. So the action is, let's just press F10 just to populate those. So action is examine and the parameter is torch. So that's what we got from deciding what action we're going to take. So action is now examine. We're going to check if examine is go, we'll do that. If it's examine, which it is, so we're going to be running on lines 137, 138. So we'll press F10 again. There we are on 137. You examine the torch. So we'll press F10, and sure enough, it comes up down here. And then we're going to get the description of that torch next. So we're going to print out the shared items, which is the dictionary that holds all of our items. The key of that item is torch. So we will get one item from that dictionary, and then we're using the get description function to get the description of that item. So let's press F10. There we go. You examine the torch, a magnificent flaming wooden torch. Maybe this is in the wrong adventure game. So of course that was the description. We then sleep for 2 seconds using the shared sleep function. Press F10. Okay, and that's the end of that function. So we will exit from there, and we're back to play. So this is how the play loop works. we're in the main function main here. We've loaded the game in, we've set the game state to play, and we're now in this while loop. So that while the game state is less than quit, we're going to just keep playing on and on and on. So that's how it works. So if we press F10 again, then it checks the game state and we're back in here again. So this is where we can make further changes. Let's choose this time. I'll just make sure it's stopped on a suitable point. We'll untick that. So we want to, we've done examine. Let's do take. So if I put that there, and we're going to let this run now, and then we'll take an item. Oh, we're just doing the display location. Not sure if we step through that or not. I can't remember now. Yes, we did. So let's untick that, and we'll step through there. So we've got examine torch, take torch, examine book. So this time we'll take the torch, which is 2. So let's put 2 on. Hit enter. So now we've got our choice is take torch. So that will look for the word take inside our choice. So obviously this line 83 is what's going to run. So we'll press F10 until we get down to it. There we go. So we're now going to take the substring of our choice, which is take. So again, we'll return torch to the calling function. So we'll F10 that. And again, the action is now, F10 to get past that. The action is take. And the parameter is torch. So we're going to go down to this line here now. Let's go press that one down there. So we're now going to print. You take the torch and put it in your backpack. Let's do that, F10. Now, of course, as we have taken it away from the location, we need to first of all add it to our personal player inventory. So we're calling the player add to inventory. I'm hoping this is going to step through. It may not. No, it doesn't. So we've added it to the inventory. It would have been nice if it would have stepped through, but I forgot to set it specifically. Anyway, and then here we're going to remove items. So let's make sure that that does actually do its job. So we'll I'll put a stop point in remove item. There we are. Let's put that in. So back to main. Let's step in through this, F10. So this is a fairly simple one. We've got self.items, which is torch and book, equals table remove key self.items item key. So what we're trying to do is to remove the key from our table. So this is a function that is within this, it's up here somewhere, table remove. Yeah, it's built into this class. So let's see if we can step through that. So there we go. So this is the remove key function, and we've got the table name, which is torch and book, and we've got the value we want to remove torch. Set the local index to 0, and then we're going to do a KV in pairs of the table, and then we're looking to see whether the value is equal to torch, and if it is, then we make a note of the index, break out of the loop, and then we remove it from down here. So let's press F10. So for key, let's just see if we can get key highlighted. It should just be a number. Yep, key is 1, and the value is torch. So we've got the first item in our table is item 1, which is a torch, which is of course what we want to drop. So this is going to set the index, which we gave the value of 0 here, to that. So we'll press F10, then we break out of the loop, and then if index is greater than 0, which it is, it's 1, then we're going to remove at that point in the table. So we're going to remove from the table index 1. So if we do that now, and then we go back over to the table, it's only got book in it now because torch has been removed, and then we'll return the table from the starting point. So that has removed that item from our list. Now, because we've removed it from the inventory, we've added it to our player inventory, which I forgot to step into, so unfortunately we've missed that one. But we've removed it from the location. So we sleep for a couple of seconds and then go on, and we're ready to go back to the play as before. So this time we've checked out, examine and take. Let's do go next time, I think. So we'll do a go east. Obviously we don't need to check out the quit because that will just set the game state to quit and that'll end the game. So we'll press the choice now, we want to go east, which is 4. So we press 4 here, and the choice is go east. So we will F10 until we get the go. There we are. So we're going to return go, and east is going to be extracted from choice by using stub string starting at 4. So we ignore 1, 2, 3, and we start on the E of east. So that's what we're sending back. So if we F10 that one, and again we've now got we've now got the action is go and the parameter is east. So we're going to obviously, if the action is go, we're going to go straight into this one here. So we'll F10 to there, and we're now going to set the current location, which is currently hotel room, to another exit, but we're not just going to give it immediately. We're going to check whether that exit needs something to actually allow us to go into. So we're going to call check exit, passing to it the current location and east. So if we step into that one, there's the check exit. So we're setting up this local variable with a nil value at the moment, and then we're checking what the direction is. The direction is east, so the next location will be here, which is the locations here get to east, and that will pass us what the next location is. So let's press F10 and see if we can run into that. Probably not. Oh, yes we are. That's great. So south to east is corridor, so that's what we're going to return. So the next location is step through it. There we go. Next location is that one, which is the object of corridor. So you've got the description of dark corridor with worn carpet, enemy, etc., etc. So that's now changed the object that we're looking into, the object location. We're now using the corridor one. We're now checking whether the next location has an item required. So let's see if we can step into it with pressing F10. Yes, we can, which is great. Is anything required in this one? No, it's an empty string. So we can F10 out of that. So we don't need to check for anything that might be needed to get into that next location. If there was an item required, these two lines here would check to see whether it's either in your inventory or whether no, you haven't got it, so you need to have it, and it would then return next location back to the current one, which is here. So that's going to be skipped because we're okay, we don't need an item required, and so we're going to return the next location's name, which will be corridor. So let's press F10. And there we are, we've got self.name, corridor, F10. So our current location is now a new one. If I press F10, current location is corridor. And again, that's the end. It's going to go into the play one again. So that shows you how we can move from one location to the other. The only one we haven't done is open your inventory. So let's just quickly check that. So let's put a thumb by that one. We can switch that one off. And we'll press the continue button to get to there. So this time we want to open our inventory, which is number 5. So the choice is open your inventory. So it's going to say if choice find inventory is not nil, then open the inventory. So obviously line 86 is where it's going to run. So we'll just quickly step down to that, and we're going to return inventory and an empty string. So we'll F10 that. So F10 again. So the action is inventory and the parameter is an empty string. So if the action is inventory, then we're going to use the inventory. So let's step down until we get to that. So we're now calling a new function called use inventory, which is this one here. So we'll step into that now. So use inventory has a string variable called choice, which is given an empty value. So we'll F10 into that, and then it says while choice does not equal exit menu. So choice is obviously empty, so this loop's going to run at least once. Clear the console. Then our title is choose your option. I'm thinking that ought to be changed, because it would be better if it said you're in your inventory, or choose your inventory option, but that's something I can do. I can't do it while it's running, but that maybe needs to be retitled, but easily done. So we press F10. So the title has been set, the screen has been cleared, options is an empty table, and as before we're going to check whether we want to examine and drop, just like we did in the other routine. So we'll step through those, and we've added, of course, exit menu. So there's our examine torch, drop torch, and exit menu is our 3 options. Let me pop that against drop. I think what we'll do is we'll drop something here. So let's choose drop the torch. So I'll just make sure that's running. Yes, it is. And then we'll choose 2, which is drop the torch. So we're now choice. Let's press F10. There we go. So the choice is drop torch. So we're going to return or print out you drop the item. So we'll do that. You drop the torch. There we go. Now we want to add this item to the current location. So let's again make sure that add item is highlighted so we can actually get into it. Where have I put add item? Trim. I've probably skimmed past it. There it is. So right, so let's go back to game. So we're going to to main. So we're going to add item to the current location. So let's press F10, and here we go. So we're just doing a simple table insert. Self.items has got key card and key in it already. We're going to add torch. So we just table insert F10, and now the self.items has got key card, key, and torch. So it's as simple as that. It might have been wise to have just checked whether it was already in there before inserting it, but I don't think it matters at this stage in the game. So we'll F10 out of there. Now we're going to remove from the player's inventory, which is the opposite of adding it. So I did miss this when I was adding it. So let's just make sure we can get the player remove from inventory. Let's put that there, and we'll go back to here. So we're now going to remove it. We'll press F10. So the index is the table index of the player inventory. So what we're trying to do is to get the index of that particular item. So the item is a torch. Let's press F10. So it's using this table index function. We're passing the table, which is, as at the moment, it's only got torch in, and we're checking what the index is of that item. So we've got a table at the moment with only one item in it. So obviously the index is going to be 1 because this is lure and it starts at 1. But if there had been a number of items in the table, this would have told us what the index is for this. So let's press F10. So we're doing the key value in I pairs as before. So the item is torch, and the first value is, of course, torch. So if item equals value, then return the key. So we're going to return the key of what we've matched it at, which is 1. Yep, key is 1, so we F10 there. Then it says if index is greater than 0, which it is, table remove player inventory index. So we've now removed it from the player inventory, and it's now an empty table. Okay, F10 back again. So we have dropped it. We've removed it from the player and we've dropped it into the current location. So we sleep for 3 seconds. Good. And it's now checking whether the length of the player inventory is 0, which it is. So we're adding a choice now of exit menu. And then while choice does not equal exit menu, well, of course choice is now exit menu, so this loop is going to fail and we come out of it and the use inventory is finished. And I think that takes us back to the play. Yes, it does. So we're back at play. So there we are. That's how the lure version works. So as you can see, we can now go around to different areas. So we can check our inventory. We can pick up and drop items. So we're getting closer. We're actually able to play this game to a limited extent. So we need to obviously add some enemies and puzzles and things, but that's in the next couple of episodes. So I hope that went well for you.